Asparagus. It is an exotic vegetable. Some people don't know what to do with it at all. It's only in our stores between February and June, at least to the point that you can afford to purchase it. It is one of the vegetables with the highest iron in it. It usually comes in a bundle that has bands on it. When you're looking at it to buy it, look at the tips and be sure that they're tightly bound. See how these are really tightly closed, they're not opening up, so it's not like been there a while. The other thing, you look at the other end when you're trying to purchase, and you want them to look cleanly cut, still moist, not dried out. The drying out means it's been around a while and it's been a while since it's been cut. So what I do is I bring it home, because you try to use it the very same day that you buy it, but then you bring it home and you just cut off the ends if they're dried out, and then you take it, put it into a cup, sit them in there. They're like little plants. They still need the water. And then that way they'll stay fresh until you can use them. And if you do that, you can probably keep it in the refrigerator for about 3 days. You can just toss these. If by chance, they come in different sizes in the thickness of the stems. Some of them are very thick and some are very skinny, and that doesn't really matter. They'll all be very tender. They're just different kinds. If they are a little tough, you can take your peeler and just peel off some of the skin. You don't have to take off all of it. Just take off some of it. This is actually one that I really didn't need to do that to, because you can tell it barely wants to come off. Now I want to show you the way that you can do this so that your asparagus is tender all the way from the end to the other end. So when you're going to cook the asparagus, the best thing to do is to put some water in the bottom of a pan, and a wide pan, like a skillet. In this case, I know about how tall this needs to be, not to be in the water. And then you open that up. Then you take your spears. They're called spears, asparagus spears. You take the band off and try not to mess up your other end. And then you put them in here with the point, with the bit, the bud up at the top, and you put the other end near the middle. And you make it kind of in a big circle. And the reason why you would do this is because the outside edge of your pan is usually cooler where it's heating, and the one in the middle is warmer. So you just lay these on here, put them in a circle. You could have made these shorter if you'd wanted. I'd already tested these, and these are really good all the way to the ends. And I'll show you how to figure that out. You put them all in, and then you cover them. You've got the points all the way over to the edge of the pan. Okay? And then you put a lid on, and you bring the water to a boil, and you cook it 5 to 10 minutes. That way, your tips will not be mushy while the other end is barely done. This way it makes it very evenly cooked. Now, some of them, when you get them, they're going to be kind of stiff at the other end, and usually you do have to take off certain parts of it. So the way to do the natural break is that you take your fingers on each end, and then you just break it, and it will break where it's harder and where the soft meat. And so that's a really easy way to do it. Now sometimes it's pretty soft all the way down to the end, and it's breaking off that way because I have my thumb there and it's breaking where my thumb is. And that's because these are pretty even, this batch that I got the other day. And and this is during the peak of the season. This is between February and June. Now, the asparagus comes in more than the fresh version. You can also get them canned. You can get the canned. These are the tips. They're cut up already. You can also get them canned, and they're the whole spears. Now, the one thing that happens to some people is when they get the cans and they open it, they're really surprised at how soft it is. It is well cooked. It has been canned, but it's one of those things to put in your food storage for emergencies because it's a different kind of vegetable. Now, the way to get it where it's been processed is get it frozen, and it's the closest that you can come to having it fresh. And of course, when they freeze things, they usually have to use the vegetables very fresh and ripe for it to process well. So this is my second preferred way of having the asparagus. Now, after your asparagus is cooked, you can lay it out to cool it, and then you can eat it cold after it's been cooked. And that is a very popular way to put it into salads, to take it as just a snack. And then you can also put it raw into other dishes like your stews, or put it in with your roast near the end, not at the beginning when you started cooking, and that gives you another flavor. Asparagus is one of those items that a lot of people don't use because it's more expensive. Just watch for the season. Between February, like this is about April, and they're usually a pretty good price by this time. As I mentioned, if you use the canned asparagus, it does not look, taste, or feel like the raw or the asparagus that is frozen. So I wanted to show you what that's like. This is the one that is the tips and cuts. This is the one that are the spears, and they both end up tasting the same. And as you'll see, the first obvious thing is that the color is very different. I want to put some of these out here for you to see. And they're very soft because they've been canned. And if you'll notice in the cut, there's more ends and middles than there are tips. And I want to show you how soft that is. With no pressure, it is really soft. Now, there are times to use this. First of all, if you need it in the cupboard, so you have it on hand, so when someone shows up, you can eat it directly out of the can, or you can add it to salad. You can cook it more. It won't get much softer than it is right now. The spears are really long, and when you take them out, they are actually standing up in the container. And so what I do is I open it, and then I put a bowl on top of that, and then I turn them over so that they come out nicely and don't get broken, because they are as soft as these are. So you can see the difference between the two greens. So go to my website, and I'll have some more information about them. You can also find asparagus in white because it was covered up while it was growing, or you can find it as purple, which is a nice take, and it makes it a little darker when it gets cooked, although it turns more green than you would be purple. So I hope you've enjoyed the show.